All right, a fast turnaround on this new theoretical card support discussion solely because of the request to make a Traptrix deck, and overall, there's just a severe lack of support for the archetype itself, and it does have a concept that could be somewhat interesting if given proper new support. So, let's get to it. The first new support card to bolster Traptrix is Alluring Garden, Field Spell. If a whole normal trap is activated, draw two cards and then discard one. Once per turn, you can return one whole normal trap in your graveyard to your deck to set one whole normal trap in your deck with a different name to your field. If this card is removed from the field, you can special summon one Traptrix monster from your deck or graveyard. A field spell for Traptrix seems more appropriate as it is more easily searchable than a continuous spell or trap card due to the various field spell searchers in the game, especially terraforming for faster and more consistent use. The principal elements of the deck are tied to the niche attribute of the archetype that involve the activation of whole normal traps. The first effect increases the speed and consistency of the deck with a draw two, discard one per whole activation. The second effect nets a plus one whole normal trap card as a form of whole recycling because existing methods for manipulating how you acquire whole normal trap cards are rather slow and ridiculously inefficient, which heavily hurts the niche of the deck. And the whole traps themselves are not so game breaking that this effect is inherently unbalanced. It actually allows the deck to produce advantage and have a chance to compete. Finally, if Garden is removed from the field for any reason, Mermello's effect comes to mind when your opponent doesn't actually have a spell or trap card to destroy. The player nets a free Traptrix summons, which can help aid combo potential. The second card, Traptrix Insanity Hole, Normal Trap. This card can only be activated if a Traptrix monster is on the field or in your graveyard. When your opponent summons a monsters, destroy that monsters, and if you do, your opponent must randomly return one monster from the hand with an attack equal to or lower than the highest attack of a monster destroyed by this card to the deck. If this card is in your graveyard, you can return it to your deck to attach one Traptrix monster in your graveyard to any XZ monster on your field and draw one card. Finally, the Traptrix archetype receives their own whole normal trap. Not they don't have to piggyback on various generic whole normal traps. It's as it should be. The first portion of this card's effect is similar to an amalgamation of Trap Hole's effect and Bottomless Trap Hole's effect with no attack limit. However, seeing that Traptrix is supposed to be the home for whole normal traps, their archetype specific trap needs a little more juice, as it were. Sanity not only eliminates a monsters on the field, but can potentially spin a monster from the hand to the deck, giving it the potential to not only be just a one for one if you remove a single monster, but applying that negative one further to the opponent by removing some level of hand advantage. The concept behind the card is that weaker monsters that have yet to hit the field will be terrified of hitting the field after seeing one of their stronger brethren destroyed, so they flee back into the deck. Finally, the graveyard effect of this card can refuel XZ monsters on the field, and seeing that all Traptrix monsters, except for their extra deck monsters, are level 4s, you're going to see a lot of XZ play more than any other most extra deck plays, barring some Link play. Thus, this effect grants some interesting versatility to the deck, including refueling a Rafflesia with not only the XZ material, but a trap to use with its effect as Insanity goes back to the deck. Closing out the new support with a new monster, Traptrix Belladonna. Earth, plant, level 4, 1000 attack, 1500 defense. Effect. This card can be special summoned from your hand by sending one whole normal trap from your deck to your graveyard. If this card is special summoned by a Traptrix card effect, declare one monster type and select one of the following effects. Banish one monster on the field with the declared type. Negate the next effect activated by a monster with the declared type. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one Traptrix monster and one whole normal trap to special summon one Traptrix monster from your hand or graveyard. This effect can only be activated once per turn. Belladonna addresses some of the lingering issues for the deck that the other new support in this discussion did not. First, it has an innate special summoning effect that helps increase Rafflesia or other rank 4 or heck, even Link playmaking, in addition to potentially setting up Dianea special summon effect, whatever whole normal trap you dump in the graveyard for it special summon, then you special summon a Dianea sometime down the line later. She can recover whatever trap you dumped into the graveyard, somewhat increasing the speed, although the presence of that card on your field will only be temporary. Or Alluring Garden's effect. You can just use Alluring Garden to return that card that you just sent from the deck to the graveyard back to the deck, and then set up another whole normal trap on your field. Its On Summons effect can either banish a particular type of monster on the field, creating some form of field disruption and board clearance for Traptrix, which they significantly lack. They're very good at preventing boards from being created, not so good at dealing with already established boards, or you can shut down the next effect of a particular type of monster. Again, it almost feels like Belladonna in a mirror match would be rather annoying because you'd have to be very strategic in your plays because Belladonna might actually shut down one of your own effects because it doesn't say your opponent's effect. It just says that particular type of monster. Finally, it can special summon a Traptrix monster from the graveyard or hand if necessary when in the graveyard, including itself if need be, addressing some of the lack of explosiveness of the deck. Well, those are some of my ideas for new support for the Traptrix archetype. Thank you for your attention and your time. I'm out.